Hi everyone, let's talk about A Feast for Odin, The Norwegians, which I just did a full playthrough for. If you'd like to see all the game laid out and see how it plays, then I'll link to that in the description, and you can watch the whole thing if you really want to. I loved Feast for Odin, and you can see that in my original playthrough when it first came out in 2016, was it? I especially loved the solo because the community on Board Game Geek does a solo challenge. It did it weekly when the game first started, but kind of giving you certain cards to start off with or certain constraints to play with, and it was absolutely fantastic. And it was around the time I was playing a lot more solo and just played Feast for Odin constantly and definitely spammed a certain kind of exploring, getting islands, filling them up, getting a load of income. And yeah, I enjoyed the playthrough for going in a different way. But hey, you didn't come to hear my thoughts about that particular playthrough or about the expansion in the first place. So it adds, it's kind of, it doesn't seem like that much kind of just seeing it all listed out, but I feel like together it adds up to a huge difference. The board changing based on the player count. Admittedly, I only really play two-player, mostly. Sometimes solo, so I don't get to see the bigger boards with more options. There's certain action options that are only available at the higher player counts, and I like that it's now adapted it so much to those different player counts that you don't need the extensions. There used to be little extensions that you put at the bottom of the board for a 4-player game that were basically copy an action someone has already taken. So there was a couple of opportunities to do that because the board was all the same for all the player counts, and so it would get a lot busier at 4 players when everybody is trying to pick all of the different actions. So that's a nice thing, and it's got new actions that's hunting actions or pillaging actions that give some more risk, that you can only use cards for the hunting actions. You can't use wood like you can with the existing ones, or the special pillaging action where you can't use stone to boost it. You've got to basically rely on the die rolls. And as well as all of those different things, the extra column is a really nice extra because it's very cheap to go to. It's only 1 Viking or 2 Vikings if you would like to also play a card, which is brilliant because normally you have to play 4 Vikings to get to play a free card. But that kind of added little wrinkle of it having to be your last action of the round, that adds there's a 2-player game. It adds an element of jeopardy because you don't know if somebody is going to take the particular action that you want. It depends, like all of the actions, like any worker placement, it depends how much your plan hinges on that particular action. If you are completely desperate for that one thing, like say you can't feed your people or something unless you take the particular action, maybe you would even skip ahead, and not place all your Vikings, go there early while it's still available. We haven't found that we've done that. It's, if we've got something in mind that we quite like, but if something gets taken, then it's not the end of the world. And sometimes, there is a certain plan that uses all of your Vikings up and you don't end up going there. But it's a lovely extra thing of pulling you in another little direction, which is kind of what Feast for Odin is full of. It's a great big sandbox of stuff to do, and kind of the game just gently nudges you in a certain direction. That's you've got this card that's good for hunting. Do you want to do a bit of hunting? You don't have to. So the cards are a new thing as well. The cards aren't new, but there's a new extra on the cards where a little thing about the original Feast for Odin. It's got this huge deck of occupation cards. You're not drawing that many of them over the course of the game, at least in our experience. And so, it's not a completely game-breaking thing, but it can be a difference that one player keeps drawing cards that are perfect for their plan, and the other player just draws just rubbish that would have been good if they'd got it at the start and made that their goal, but at this point in the game are absolutely no good to them whatsoever. So that is still present in the game. There are no new cards in this expansion, and there are still a ton of cards to go through. But now you've got the option of when you get to play a card, you can choose to discard it instead and get some points. And you can get early on, I think there's 3 opportunities to get 4 points, and then 3 points, and then 2 points. And once they're gone, they're gone. But that is a nice little thing that's if you've just picked up an occupation card that's worth no points if you play it, and it's absolutely useless for you, it's not a complete dead end. That can be a nice little bonus, especially if you take the action that lets you play 1 to 3, or is it even 4 occupation cards in one go, and you do that early and get them all for points. Then yeah, that's a nice little boost. So other things, you've got the artisan sheds. They're another nice thing, like your starting occupation, to give you maybe a little nudge. Like I got the hunting lodge in there, and it's not like it made it supremely easier for me to do hunting. It just gave me bonus options that I would get extra cards every round, which is a different thing as well to getting the tiles usually from bonuses, or the wood, ore, or stone. This allowed me to get weapons cards, specific ones as well. So yeah, it wasn't like make or break that like, hunting is going to be so easy for you now. It's still, I've just got 1 extra card. The die roll can be 1 higher, and I'll still be happy with it. But it's more kind of nudging, and that's okay. I've got this pigsty, so maybe I'll go for pigs. And if I'm going for pigs, I might as well get a couple of them so that they'll breed. Pigs are a new animal to this expansion that breed every round. By the way, they're not worth many points, just 1 point each. But rather than the usual breeding thing, where if you've got 2 animals, 1 becomes pregnant, and then next round you'll get a new baby animal, the pigs just multiply every round. But yeah, so you've got the artisan sheds that are another nice thing that are nudging you in a different direction. Also, don't even have to build them. It's just an option that you get at the start of the game. The new islands, it's just great to have more options. And there is this themed set with the new ones. So it's like the Highlands of Scotland, isn't it, on the A sides, and then it's Ireland on the B sides. But it says in the rulebook that you just mix and match however you like. You can just play with this set, you can play with the original exploration boards from the base game, or you can just mix them however. There's the mini expansion as well that came with exploration boards. So yeah, all in all, I loved Feast for Odin. So yeah, all in all, this is an absolutely fantastic expansion. If, like me, you loved a Feast for Odin to begin with, then yeah, it's not like, I hesitate to say any expansion is must-have, because the game was just fantastic on its own. And there is a risk with a game that's got so much stuff like Feast for Odin. You kind of think when an expansion is announced, like, how am I going to be able to think of more options on this action board? There's already so much stuff to be thinking about, so many avenues I can go down. But I think that it adds a lot while not really adding a huge amount of rules learning. There are just little things to know about the artisan sheds and stuff, and the exploration boards have made it a bit simpler with the icons that show which actions can get you which islands and things. Yeah, it's not a ton of learning on top, but it's just more and more stuff to do, while not being not overwhelming and not kind of diluting the options as well. They complement the things that are already in the game. I think that's an absolutely fantastic touch. And yeah, I was going to say that, wasn't I? If you saw my original Feast for Odin first impressions, I absolutely loved it to begin with. Something would have had to have been majorly spoiled for me to not love this expansion. I kind of think, I kind of feel like a broken record with expansions. That's, if you didn't like the base game, unless your problem with the base game was the cards and the fact that you can now get compensated with some points if you don't like your cards, maybe that'll turn it around for you. But yeah, the base game, you've decided from the playthrough though, haven't you? You don't need any of this tidying up waffle at the end. You've already seen the playthrough all the way through, I'm sure, all the way through. And you've made up your mind, and you just like to hear the sound of my voice, maybe. I stopped it. Anyway, I'm going to go now and talk about some more games and stop bashing the table because it comes through on the microphone. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.